All right, kindergarten artists, today you are creating something called a tint. A tint is a color mixed with white, and we are painting a paper for a beautiful sky. Now, at the drive-thru, you need to start by choosing a colored paper and grabbing a messy mat. At your table, there are going to be all sorts of painting supplies for you to experiment making textures, that's how something would feel, and paints. Notice what two colors I have. Blue and white. I'm going to make a tint of blue. So the first thing I need to do is always the same. I grab a pencil and I write my name, Mrs. C, and my class code, flip it over, and I get to paint this paper a tint of blue. So there's all sorts of things to use on your tray, but first you're going to need to get some color down on your paper. So using your brush, whether it's the big brush or the little brush, you need to start by putting some blue down. I'm going to kind of start painting a little bit faster because I need the paint to stay wet, so it will mix. Do you notice how I just move my paper over so that my messy mat catches any paint that goes off to the side? All right, I think I got enough blue. I'm ready for some white. But first, I need to wash my brush out. So into the cup it goes, bouncing and tickling the bottom. I'm trying to clean off my brush. Notice how there's no water splashing. If it drips, wipe it on the lip. And this is an awfully big brush, and I'm going to use white, so I'm going to use my washcloth and make sure it's extra clean. All right, here's some white. Ooh la la, look at that tint I'm making. That looks beautiful. Notice when I grab the white that I just dip my brush in the white. I'm just getting the toes. If I stir my blue brush around in that cup, I'm going to notice that my white cup is going to turn into blue. It's going to be a tint. All right, now I've got some wet paint kind of covered here. I can put that brush down and maybe start to use some of these supplies. One of them is a scraper. If I pull it across, it's kind of like a comb. It will make some lines in my sky. To me, that kind of looks like wind. Also, there is a foam brush. I could use the foam brush to add paint too. A foam brush can jump to kind of make a puffy texture, especially when I think about clouds. They're kind of soft and puffy. I could also use this. This is called a paint mop. Give it a try, see what happens. It kind of makes a soft texture on my painting as well. I'm going to paint and use my texture tools to fill up my paper. So I need to get my brush back out, clean it off. If it drips, wipe it on the lip. Use my washcloth and start with a little bit more blue. All the way down to the edge, all the way along the side. Even just using the brush, how I kind of use it, sometimes I go side to side, sometimes I go up and down, maybe my brush kind of curves. You can make textures even just with this brush that look really cool. All right, once again, I have the paint comb I can use. I have my foam brush, and I have my paint mop. Use some of these supplies to add textures to your clouds. When I'm all finished, I need to carry this flat like a lunch tray to the drying rack to dry. If there's paint on my hands, I need to wipe them off on my washcloth. All of my supplies are going to go to the sink.